Welcome to Educational Quick Clips, brought to you by ISSA TV.
Hello, I'm Todd Youngblood from the YPS Group in Ackworth, Georgia. And our business is about sales process engineering. And one of the things that we have found is very, very helpful in any sales opportunity is to understand how you're going to differentiate yourself. And more often than not, we as sales reps fall into our normal spiel. We go through the process that we just normally go through. And I'd like to suggest that you really want to think about the customer that you're dealing with and your own personal skills along two different dimensions to decide what kind of a strategy you want to put in place, how you're going to deal with selling this particular opportunity. And the first thing to think about, traditional sales, is your knowledge about your product and or service. How much do you know about it and what it does and why it's good and how it's applied? So the product and service itself, its features and benefits, and how it's applied in your customer. You can look at the diagram and see that from the bottom to the top, from having little or no knowledge at the bottom to being the world's greatest living expert on your product, service, and application at the top. The other dimension along the bottom of the diagram is competitive differentiation. What is it about what you're selling that's going to make you different? And on the left side, it's price. And it's a legitimate thing to compete on low price. Home Depot, for example, and Walmart have been extraordinarily successful competing on low price. So it's not a bad thing. In most distributors, competing on price is probably not where you want to be. So that's the low level on the left side of the diagram again. The second thing is to emphasize the features and benefits of your product. Again, using the product knowledge that we were just talking about, instead of just looking at the price of your product or service, what are specific aspects of it and why is that good for a customer? And how's that going to be good for them and benefit them and bring more value to them? The third stage out, and this is really quite a big leap. It's outside of the traditional feature benefit selling that's been with us for centuries. And that is, how do you change the customer's business process? How do your products and services, when applied, change the way the customer does business? Hopefully for the better. But how is it different? How is it done in less time? How does it take fewer people? How is it done with lower cost? But just the business process itself, how is it different? Then the next stage out, all the way out to the extreme right of the diagram, is what's the dollar value of that? Quantify it. Talk about not only fewer people, but 3 people. Not only lower cost, but 18% lower cost. So quantifying it. And if you're really good, you can take that into a budget, a balance sheet, and an income statement, the financial statements for a company. So that describes the two different axes. The vertical, your product and application knowledge, and the horizontal, how you're going to differentiate yourself. Now we get 4 blocks. And I'm suggesting you make a conscious decision about which of the 4 blocks you live in. If you look at the lower left, you're providing a little bit of product information, and you're competing on price and delivery, basically, and the features. So you're just delivering information. Simple, doesn't take a lot of skill, a lot of effort. In fact, you could be replaced by a website if that's where you're going to live. You can live there, but I don't think that's something that's really going to set you apart as a successful professional sales rep. Or you can migrate north on the diagram and get up into what's labeled reactor. And that is now the customer already has their needs defined. They know what they want. They know what their problem is. They know what they need to solve it. And you are an expert at your product and service. You know everything about it, so you can answer all their questions really quickly. That has value. It has more value. That's why there's 2 dollar signs in that block. More valuable than pretending you're a website. Or you can go across the horizontal dimension, move out to the right, and focus more on changing the business process. Forget about your product. You can even take it to the extreme and say, recognize, in fact, that your customer doesn't care about your product. They don't care about you, your company, or your product. They care about their own business and improving their own business processes. So now you're in that process consultant block. 3 dollar signs now. More valuable than the product knowledge because you're improving your customer's business, especially if you can get out to the extreme right where you can talk about real dollars and cents. Instead of, I'm making your business run faster, I'm enabling you to sell $100,000 worth more of your product every year. Or, best bet, I can move into the upper right corner of that diagram. I wish I could come up with a better word than partner to label it, but I just flat can't think of anything better than that, where I am the world's greatest living expert on my product, service, and application, and I'm walking in there and telling you how I'm having an impact on your income statement, your balance sheet, putting more money in you, the customer's pocket. One more point to make. As you see the two arrows, it's hard to get better on both dimensions at one time. So make a conscious decision. I'm going to learn more about my product and move up the chart. Or I'm going to learn more about my customer's business and the financial impact and move to the right on the chart. And my last point is this idea of proactive, reactive. And you see the line down the center of the diagram. If you're in the data provider or the reactor block, you're reacting to the customer. If you're on the right side of the diagram, you're leading the customer. You're anticipating their problems, their needs, their solutions. You're a heck of a lot more valuable if you live there. So, summary point of it all, take a look at the diagram, think through your product and application knowledge, think through how you're going to differentiate yourself, and make a conscious decision about what block you're going to use to develop your strategy for this particular opportunity.
To view more quick clips, visit ISSA.com.